Howdy there, Dakota Diamond from Jedediah Smith here. I'm going to give a little lesson on diminished chords and maybe somewhat scales, and also how to use diminished seventh chords to find inversion shapes for dominant chords and ultimately other chord types as well. But let me tell you a little bit about what I'm rocking here. I got my Artisan Bassworks Custom 8-string bitchin'. I'm running through my Marshall VS100, going with a SM57 to my Avalon U5. Sounds pretty good. I ordered a new Kemper, but it's dead on arrival out of the box, so what the fuck, guys, on that. So hopefully I'll get some videos up soon with me demoing the Kemper and playing some new material. But yeah, I'll do some diminished scales here. So what we want to start with, I'd say, is let me start with just we'll just go with this F sharp diminished chord, diminished seventh chord. And now from this chord, if you move any of these voicings down a half step, they become the root of a dominant chord. For example, if we move the lowest voicing down a half step, this F sharp diminished seventh chord becomes F7. Now if we move this third lowest voicing down a half step to B, we get B7 over F sharp. Now if we move the second lowest voicing down to D, we get D7 over F sharp. Now if we move the highest voicing down, which is A, a half step makes it A flat, becomes A flat or G sharp 7 over F sharp. Now, why does that matter? Well, look at this. When you take these shapes and you move up in minor thirds symmetrically with the diminished scale, it allows you to find all of your inversion shapes for these dominant chords, and of course you can apply it to other types as well. So let's go with our first example. We're taking this F sharp diminished 7, moving the root down a half step to become F7. Now this bottom note is F. That's the root of the dominant chord, and now we're looking for inversion shapes. If we move up the diminished seventh chord a minor third, now we find the note F in there. Now we see that we have a note in here that's a half step above F. We move that note down, and now we have our first inversion shape. And the chord here is F7 over A. Now we move up another minor third, this next diminished seventh chord, and now we find where that F happens again. Here we see the F sharp again. We move down a half step, and now we have ourselves this it's skipping me here. Shit. We have, oh, duh. It's F7 over F7 over C. I'm just a dumbass, but please don't take my dumbassery into your lessons here. So we have F7 over C. Alright. And then we move up to this last shape here. find that F sharp again, we move it down a half step. And so there we have F7 over D sharp, or E flat, whatever way you want to look at it. So again, we got these chords now, moving from these diminished sevenths. Now if you take all the notes combined with all of those chords we just had, you create the dominant diminished scale, also known as the half-whole diminished scale, which is moving up half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, all the way up. Symmetrical scale, badass scale. But let's work with a couple other things that you might be able to do with this voice leading and these inversion shapes, because I mean it doesn't just apply to dominant chords. Now if you move the second voicing up a half step here with this diminished seventh chord, the F sharp diminished 7, you get F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Now if you move, you take this F sharp diminished 7th chord again, and you move the root down a half step, boom, you got your F7 again, but then move the highest voicing down a half step, you got F minor 7. So you can see how you can get really crazy with this, and even try moving stuff in, you know, whole steps. Let's try moving this second highest voicing down a whole step. See, it sounds really cool, and you can just mess around with that kind of stuff all across the fretboard. I mean, fairly simple right there, but you can get very complex with it. So maybe I'll just I'll shred around for a second in some diminished scales and arpeggios and dominant as well. Now that lick right there, that is going to be on the new record. 5/4 fill, 5 groups of 5 contained within a 5/4 time signature, 1 bar. The song is going to be called Never Summer. It's going to be about 18 minutes long. Going to be a badass song. I think so anyways. This next lick is also off Never Summer, another diminished lick. Whole song is kind of alternating between E minor, E major, E diminished. There's even some whole tone stuff in there, dominant diminished and harmonic minor and melodic minor as well. So kind of just an exploration of all, everything you can really do with E. So here's this lick. It's 31/16. Alright, now let's slow that down. I think I messed up a little bit on the first repeat there, but real cool lick. Again, hope you enjoyed my lesson on diminished stuff. Pretty cool subject. You can get real crazy with it, and hopefully you can take a couple things away from the lesson and maybe improve upon it. I'm sure there's got to be someone out there who can improve upon it. Wasn't the sickest diminished stuff, but I mean it's a good example of the subject, or something of that matter. But yeah, and hope you enjoyed the little taste of some new material. Hopefully once I get my Kemper, we'll have some better stuff up there. Yeah, so enough of my chatter. We'll see y'all later. This is Dakota Diamond of Jedediah Smith. I am fishing on the Platte River in Missouri, visiting my grandparents, and I got myself here nice flathead catfish. Lewis and Clark and Jedediah Smith himself passed through this area before. I wonder if he ever caught one of these. Peace out.